There we go. So again, welcome everybody to week 1 of your Wales School of Wealth, Opening to Abundance. And I love Bonnie Blue has whales all over her, an abundance of whales all over her shirt.
That's right.
That's awesome, awesome.
And
All right, so,
whale
and there's Oyster, cool. Oh, look, and Carolyn has her dolphin shirt on. I love that. Her whale wear shirt. Something that I created. I love that.
Cool.
Yay.
My mermaid mug.
And a mermaid mug. All right.
Oh, that's nice.
Go mermaid.
Nice.
Oh, and Larry has his Wild Quest mug. Awesome. Awesome. All right, so what I want to do is I have a PowerPoint presentation for us, and I'm planning that these calls will be about an hour, and we'll see how long the presentation lasts. We will be doing a visualization during the presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and mute all of you guys. That way, any background noises you guys have will not disturb anybody else, distract anybody. So I'd like you all to just really focus in on today. This is your time. This is your special moment, your hour to really focus on yourself and focus on opening up to abundance during this time. So make sure you close all your other browsers, make sure your cell phones are off unless you're using them to connect, so that we can really, really get the most out of this module today. All right, so without further ado, let's dive in, pun intended, to the presentation. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And go over to PowerPoint. And here we go. So again, welcome to the Wales School of Wealth. And it is now time to open to abundance. Abundance is natural in the world, and it seems that it's only us humans who get in the way of it. So it really, by looking at this picture, when a school of herring makes an orca whale look small, that is the definition of abundance. So in this program, the whales and I are going to be sharing, teaching, and guiding you to claim your natural place in the flow of abundance that is waiting to flow into your life. Just waiting for you to say yes. And we all have, in our world, we're conditioned not to say yes to abundance. We've all heard, in fact, this morning, not yesterday morning, I guess it is, I just arrived home after traveling, and yesterday morning when the Lyft driver was taking me to the airport in Phoenix, he was saying exactly the sayings that limit us. He was saying how his grandmother taught him that money doesn't grow on trees. And he was saying how his grandmother instilled in him, and he was really proud of the fact that his grandmother taught him, you have to work really hard for every dollar. I was like, oh, I had to take a deep breath, because it's like, okay, this is, yes, that's what we've all been taught, but that is not how the world is meant to be. But for some reason, we humans think it has to be a struggle. And we're really good at that struggle. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your bank account, $100,000 in your bank account, $1,000, $100, or $10 in your bank account. That's not the point. The point is that when we have these limiting beliefs, about what abundance is, and when we're not feeling deserving or worthy of abundance, that's getting in our way of receiving. So I actually have some friends who are millionaires. They have a beautiful home and have everything that anybody could ever desire. And they are in, especially one of them is, the couple is in such a scarcity mindset. She's living in this beautiful home and her dishwasher went out and she's complaining she cannot afford to buy a new dishwasher. But she clearly can, but in her mind she cannot. So she can't. So she's limited. So we're going to do a lot of work on mindset, because we can learn all the techniques in the world, all the techniques and strategies for bringing abundance into our life. But if we don't master the mindset, it's never going to work. So let's continue. So the goal, Wales and I have a goal for you. And it's that by the end of this program, you will release all limiting beliefs and blocks you have around money and abundance. So much so that even before our 5 weeks is over, you are already receiving more abundance in your life. And I know a couple of you have shared with me already that within a week of signing up for this program, money appeared out of nowhere. One of you got an unexpected bonus at work. And so it can just show up in ways when we say yes to ourselves and yes to releasing these limiting beliefs and blocks. It allows this abundance to start flowing instead of having our walls up and preventing it from coming in. So a number of you have joined our private Facebook group, and this is a great place. I'd love for you all to join us there. And in the email that went out yesterday and today, for those of you who signed up late, not late, but just in time, I should say, there's a link to join the Facebook group, and on the recording to this call that I send out later today, I will also put the link to the Facebook group. What I'd like to see in this Facebook group is for us to support each other, for us to post our celebrations. And Grace has already posted about how she got that unexpected bonus at work. And if you have questions, if you have challenges, if you see just a tiny little bit of opening in that brick wall we all have up, if it's starting to come down, you see the light peeking through, I'd love for you to share that in the Facebook group, because it is private. It is just the people in this program. And we are here. I'm declaring that this is a safe space. We don't need to know the exact number in your bank account unless that's something you want to share. But what we'd really like to know is how you are progressing on your path to opening to abundance. So as many of you know, and something I talk about a lot, is that the whales represent abundance. They are the largest animals on Earth. This is a blue whale, and blue whales can be up to 100 feet long and are larger than any animal that has ever lived on Earth, including the dinosaurs. And they eat the smallest. Blue whales eat krill, which are tiny little shrimp-like creatures. And you never see a skinny whale. It's easy for them. They just open their mouths and they never worry. There's always enough. So the definition of abundance, I thought it would be fun to look up the exact definition. And according to dictionary.com, it is defined as overflowing fullness and abundance of the heart, which of course I thought was really cool, affluence, wealth, the enjoyment of abundance. Now, I love the abundance of the heart because the heart is often where our fears live. And when we let go of these fears, let go of these blocks, and release the limiting beliefs, then our heart is wide open to receive. And abundance, to me, doesn't always just mean, we tend to take it to mean money, dollars, gold, whatever denomination you work with. But it can mean an abundance of anything. It can be an abundance of love, an abundance of clean clothes. It can be an abundant state of joy. It can mean an abundance of dolphins. It can mean whatever we want it to mean. It's not just about money. And I love the last definition of this, the enjoyment of abundance. How often do you really enjoy your abundance? When you get a paycheck, when you get money coming in, do you look at that and say, this is nice, but it's not enough. I really could use more. Do you really enjoy that abundance, even if it's $10 that you didn't expect to get? Or even if somebody owed you the $10, receive it with enjoyment. And it's in any abundance that comes your way, take a moment, breathe it in, and enjoy that moment. Because most of us are trained to look at it like, oh yeah, okay, but I really need about 5 times more than that, or 10 times, or 100 times more. Maybe you do, and I'm not taking away from that. But when we look at that abundance coming our way, and we immediately go into lack, it's not enough. It just puts the brakes on any more coming our way. So let's focus on enjoying our abundance. So I'd like to take a moment to share a little bit my experience of learning the lesson of abundance from the whales, how it happened for me. So I was here in Panama with my husband, and we got down to literally 8 cents between us. We had bought some food with what little money we had, and what was left over was 8 pennies, nothing else. Really scary place. And of course, the money we did have we bought one meal and split it. It wasn't even enough to fill us both up. And thankfully, the next day I had a tour. And we sat down and we thought, we got to do something. And I had only been here like about a year with him, and it was like, we have to do something different. This is not working. And at the time, I was working freelance as a tour guide for other companies. And he, being an Indigenous man in a country that's very prejudiced against the Indigenous people, with a very poor 6th grade education, it was really hard for him to get any kind of work, even the most menial labor, which pays minimum wage here is $15 a day. That's a day, not hour. And under the table, it's $12 a day. So he didn't have much opportunity to bring much in. And so it kind of fell on my shoulders. He did what he could, but it was tough. And most of that $12 a day was very hit and miss, part-time work or as needed labor. So we both decided that I should go back to California because my previous career was training animals for the movies. And in that job, I got paid really well. I was getting between $350 and $400 a day for my time. That doesn't count overtime and per diem and meals and travel and then the animal rental. So I made quite a nice chunk of money when I worked. Thing about films is you don't work every day. But well, we thought, well, I could go back, but how was I going to get there? We actually ended up, I had brought all my personal belongings to Panama with me, which included some heirloom furniture, all this stuff. And I sold it all, and it killed me. I sold some really special items of furniture that meant a lot to me and meant a lot to our family that came from both of my grandmothers. And it was awful to say goodbye to that. But I did, so that we could have some money to live on and I could get to California. Fortunately, I had some friends I could stay with, but when you're in California, you have to have a car. So I had to rent a car. So I flew to Hollywood, stayed just down the street from this view, and was looking for work. And I couldn't find any. It's a tough world sometimes. There's a lot of competition for those well-paying jobs. So I was looking, and I got invited to assist in, some of you know Linda Shea was having a Dolphin Heart World weekend. I had graduated from her Dolphin Heart World school, so I was invited to assist in one of her weekends in Northern California. But before that, you can see this was me. I was always worried and stressed about money. When it's 8 cents, it's pretty scary. And it takes a huge toll. Migraine headaches and just, not sleeping well, the whole 9 yards. So I was driving up the California coast. And I thought, well, I'll take the coast road instead of the road that goes through Central California, which is really boring, and never driven up the California coast. And I thought, well, that'll be really fun. I'm just going to enjoy. I'm going to forget about my problems and my stress. I'm just going to enjoy the drive. And the beauty of the coastline just really put me into this really fun space of wonder and discovery. And I was following my intuition. And I found all kinds of harbor seals and sea otters right next to the road and elephant seals. I was just having a blast, just really taking in all of this nature as I drove up the coast. And I allowed myself 2 days so I could just really enjoy and explore. And then I saw this splash off in the distance. And at first I thought it was rocks because there's a lot of rocks along the coast. And then I thought, wait a minute, that's not rocks. It was whales. It was humpback whales playing in the distance. So I stopped and I watched them, and I found it odd that nobody else stopped. And I just watched them for a while, just really enjoyed them. And eventually they moved off. So I got back in my car and kept driving. And you know how it is when you're driving, your mind just wanders. I had a spiritual teacher once who used to always chastise us because he said, when you sit down to meditate, you've got this monkey mind. But the minute you get in the car, you go right into that state, that meditative state. And so I started thinking about abundance. Didn't pay any attention. I didn't connect it with the whales at the moment. Just started thinking about it and realized that in nature, abundance is effortless. These wildebeest, all they have to do is put their head down and there's food. They never have to worry about where the food is. And if you're a lion, look at how many wildebeest there are. There is abundance everywhere. food is everywhere nature looks. Again, the deer puts its head down, the frog has insects everywhere, the birds have berries, the big fish have little fish, the chimps, the primates have fruits and plants everywhere they look to eat. I really started thinking about that and realizing how easy it is for nature. And the plants, look at the plants. How easy is it? You just open your leaves and the sunshine is your food. It's the ultimate mastery of abundance. They don't have to do anything. So why is it so hard for us humans? So as I was thinking about all in nature, how easy it is, I literally saw this kind of glass brick wall that was preventing me from receiving abundance. And I really started thinking, why is it so difficult? And then I remembered a recent article I had read about 4 or 5 American men. They were businessmen, city men that were in South America, and somehow they got lost in the Amazon. And they finally found their way out 2 weeks later, and they were starving. And when I read that, I thought, how do you starve in the jungle? After my husband is indigenous, lives out in the jungle, they live off the land. There's food everywhere in the tropical jungle. But if you're an American man from the city and you have no idea what is food, what you can eat, they didn't eat anything, surrounded by literally the jungle in this picture. So that's a really good example of how abundance literally is all around us. But if we have our blinders on and we don't realize what there is for us to receive, that we just look, expand our horizons, literally take those blinders off, look around. Abundance is there, just waiting, just waiting. So as I started thinking about that, I saw a little tiny piece of light coming through, like a little chink in my glass brick wall of light coming through in my mind's eye. And then it started opening more and more. And so I drove along and all this was going through my mind. And then I remembered the whales represent abundance. I had totally forgotten, didn't realize that I had totally forgotten that I had been taught that whales represent abundance. So it's like, okay, thank you, whales. It was the first time I put all of that together. So after my weekend, I came back to LA and the ideas just started flowing in my brain. And remember, I had been working freelance for other tour companies in Panama, taking people out to my husband's village. This is his village. It's actually his brother is the farthest left gentleman there. And so I thought, one of the ideas that came in was, why don't I start my own company? Let's just see. So I got a really good domain name. The name of the tribe is Embera. So EmberaVillageTours.com. Now, all the other tour companies that took tours out there didn't specialize in the village. They were like, general Panama tours. You could do this tour and that, any tour possible. So I focused. I narrowed it down to just the tribe. So I built a website. I had never done that before. Built a website on my own, put it up, and the money started coming in. Within 1 week of putting up the website, I got an email from a guy who said, I want to take your tour. Can I give you a credit card for a deposit? And I was so excited, but I had no idea how to take a credit card. I had to call a friend and say, how do I do this? How do I take a credit card? So fortunately, she had a small business. She gave me a system, and I was able to get it set up right away and send him a link so that he could send me a deposit. And after that, we started getting tours constantly, and I have had all kinds of people come on the tours, including the managing editor of the New York Times. I had Joe Biden's personal masseuse come on the tour. I've even had Morgan Freeman on my tour. So if you just start opening up, the money will flow. Open up to the ideas, get out of our own way, because I was in the box. I don't know what to do. Let the ideas come in. It's time to open that box and go outside of it. So how can you tap into the flow of abundance? And what the whales wanted me to share with you is that it's all about becoming one with nature. Because we humans, for some reason, we have this little thing called an ego that gets in our way, that tries to separate us from nature. And we build buildings. Obviously, we need the support, we need protection from the elements at times, yet it isolates us. It's a barrier between us and nature. And many times you hear people say humans and animals. We're not humans and animals. Humans are animals. We are part of nature. I believe we are no more or less important than any other being in nature, whether it's a cricket, an earthworm, a whale, a chimpanzee, a deer, an oak tree, a blade of grass. We are all equal on this earth. Yet we're the only species that doesn't integrate well with the rest of nature. We really separate ourselves. So the orca whales tell us the reason you humans suffer so much is because most of you are disconnected from nature. Even if you spend a lot of time in nature, you are still disconnected. And it's true. How often have you walked in the park, walked on the beach, been on a boat, walked through the forest, in a meadow, out in the desert, yet you don't feel truly connected to the nature? You're observing it and you can appreciate the beauty, but you don't feel at one with it. The key is to merge with nature. Become one with it. By merging with nature, you will step back into the flow of nature, not apart from it, which is where the flow of abundance lives. The orcas remind us it is time to return to nature. Come back to the way your life was intended, at one with nature, in the flow. Spend time in nature with the intention, the conscious intention of being at one with it. Become a part of it. Remember that you are not separate from nature. As much as it appears that way, as much as everything around us tries to tell us how separate we are not. You can even merge with nature completely inside a building, surrounded by unnatural things through meditation. Being at one with nature is a state of mind that can be achieved anywhere. And so if you're working in an office, or say you live in New York City, or somewhere surrounded with where there is very little nature, all you have to do is close your eyes in meditation, even if it's just for a few moments. The more you practice it, the easier it is to be able to merge. You don't have to physically be out in nature to merge with it, even though it's much easier when you are out and surrounded by nature. And I've got birds trying to get in my window as I'm speaking. So the nature's trying to come to us through my window. So you can be merged with nature anywhere that you are. One of the best places I can meditate is actually on an airplane, 30,000 feet in the air. Some of my newsletter information I get while sitting on an airplane. So you can do it anywhere. So it's about becoming one with what nurtures you. This is an image that the whales sent to me in my mind, and our very own Bonnie Blue created this for me, so that I could share it with others, pull it out of my brain and my mind. So that this is an image of a blue whale filled up, merged, being at one with the krill that it eats. It's not just about filling its belly with krill. It's about becoming one with the krill and literally merging as an exchange of energy, so that the energy of both continues on, even though the krill in its physical little body doesn't survive being eaten by the blue whale. But the blue whale honors and carries that spirit, that energy of the krill with it. So we need to, this is funny. The birds are now there's one bird is now feeding the other bird. So it's literally bringing food in front of me while we're speaking. So nature is really showing us and honoring us by I turn it around, but the lighting isn't great, but this is really fun. Thank you, birds. Thank you, nature. So it's all about becoming one with what nurtures us. And it's about coming from a place of gratitude. And Mother Ocean tells us gratitude is the secret sauce of the world. When you feel grateful, the world is your oyster. And this is wisdom that I received when, some of you may know, this is a card from my new Wisdom from the Sea card deck. And I haven't published it yet. I'm working on that, but this is the prototype for it. And this is what Mother Ocean, I just tuned in, and whoever wanted to share could share. And this is what came through from Mother Ocean. So gratitude is huge. You've all heard about how being grateful, but very few of us actually take a gratitude practice, a mindful practice. We know to be grateful, but do you actually sit down and write out what you're grateful for every single day? There's so much we can be grateful for, even if it's 8 cents in your wallet. It's 8 cents. It's 8 pennies. And we can be grateful for our families, for our health, for having a roof over our heads, for having food in our kitchen, for having clean water, having clean clothes, having a place that we can bathe our bodies. There's always something that we can be grateful for. All right, so now I would like to lead us on a visualization. So get yourselves comfortable, and if you are good with it, feel free to close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. Just allow any stress any worries, any fears to just melt away from your body. You may be excited about this program. You maybe have some fears. What if it doesn't work? Some expectations. I invite you to just let all of those go right now. And I'd like you to imagine yourself in a beautiful spot in nature, whether it's in this beautiful garden grove, like in this picture, in a meadow by a stream, in the mountains, on a tropical beach, swimming surrounded by dolphins or whales, or sitting in your favorite park, or in the desert, wherever it is for you. See yourself sitting in nature, and in your mind's eye, look around at all the nature around you. The leaves, the grass, the sand, the water, the rocks, the trees, the bushes, the birds, the insects, the butterflies, whatever it is around you, the flowers. And as you're looking at it, just drink it in through your eyes, through your nose, through your ears, if there's birds singing nearby. Just drink it all in. Let yourself be totally immersed and consumed with the nature around you. And now I'd like for you to just intend for the cells in your skin to open. Just see the lines of your body, the skin on your body, to fade just a little bit and open like a sponge. And start drinking in the nature in through your skin. So as you inhale, you're inhaling the nature in through every pore and every cell in your skin. Breathe it in. And then exhale your own essence right back out as a gift to nature. Inhale in the nature around you. Exhale out the best part of you to share, gift back to nature. Take a few moments breathing in nature and exhaling out gifts of yourself back to nature. Take a few moments in this state. Do you start to feel grounded, more solid, even though your cells are open? As you're breathing in and out, look around, and you'll notice that you can see more details in the leaves and the flowers. Maybe there's some lizards you hadn't noticed before. More birds, more wildlife peeking out at you. And just look at the sheer numbers. Look at one tree and how many leaves it has, how many branches it has. If you're looking at a beach, look at how many grains of sand it has. If you're in a desert, how many rocks there are. And just enjoy the abundance you see everywhere you're looking. Focus on the joy. And build that joy in your heart, in your body. Feel your heart soften and open up even more. With each breath in, you're still breathing in nature. And with each breath out, you're sharing that joy and appreciation for all that you see around you. And you realize that there is no separation, nothing at all. Just like a sponge, it's in and it's out, and there's a natural flow. It's easy. And while you're in this state, you are connected to your higher self, because your higher self already knows this. It's just the human ego that keeps us separated. But let the ego drift away and bring in your higher self right now that is always in tune and connected, flowing with nature. And your highest self has a gift for you. It is a mantra to help you remember this state at any moment, no matter what's going around, coming at you. It will instantly bring you back to this oneness, merging completely with nature. So right now, listen. What is the mantra? What is your mantra? To be merged with nature. Trust whatever comes in. And if you didn't get anything, just ask that in the dream time or when you go for a walk out in nature, it will pop in. And express gratitude to your highest self for sharing this powerful mantra. And gratitude to nature. And gratitude to yourself for remembering what it's like to be at one with nature, which is your rightful place, the natural place to be. This is where you are meant to be. merged with all of the nature around you at all times. So as we close our visualization, I invite you to keep your body open like the sponge. No need to close up those cells, close up those pores. Keep them open. Even if you're driving down the road, sitting in an office, just intend to always have this state of merging with nature be with you 24/7, every moment of the day and night. This is where you are meant to be. All right, take a deep breath. Give your body some gentle touch, wiggle your fingers and toes, and come on back when you're ready. And if you have something to write with, you might want to write your mantra down so that you don't forget it. All right, we'll continue on. So this is the end of today's module. And I'm giving you some homework, but this is not homework. I'm not going to check up on you. You don't have to turn it in anywhere. But this is something that can support you on this journey. And your homework is, this is something the whales asked me to do, is to take some abundance walks. Just go out around you, even if it's in your neighborhood, if you're in a city, out in the country, wherever you want to go. It doesn't matter where. But notice all the abundance that is around you every day. Even in New York City, there are trees abundant with leaves. There's Central Park. And there's an abundance of buildings. There's an abundance of wealth in New York City. There's an abundance of people. There's an abundance of pigeons. There's an abundance of stores with an abundance of amazing clothes and items. Abundance is everywhere. Just start noticing it. Just spend time just being aware. You don't have to do anything with it. Just be aware of the examples of abundance everywhere we look. And I'd like you to start a gratitude journal. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to go out and buy anything. It could just be a notebook. It's better if you hand write it. Kind of makes it more real than in the computer. But if you prefer in the computer or your phone, you can do that too. But I invite you to write 10 things that you are grateful for every day. Even if it's, I'm grateful I had a hot shower this morning. I'm grateful I had a yummy breakfast. I'm grateful for the Starbucks. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for this check that came in today. I'm grateful for my friends, for my family. It's easy to come up with 10 things. Even if it's grateful for 8 cents in your wallet. You can write more than 10 if you'd like. That's not a problem. But it's good to have 10 different things and to get into the practice of this. And what I do is I number the pages in my gratitude journal, and it's just a little notebook and just a little spiral bound, lined notebook. Get to the grocery store, and then I put the date. And then so what's fun is when, like, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, you can go back and say, hey, 6 months ago, I was grateful for this. And you can be grateful for things you don't even have yet. You can say, I'm grateful for the millions of dollars in my bank account. I'm grateful for the new car I've always dreamed of. Because when you say it like this, like that, instead of I want a new car, I want millions of dollars, you are coming from a place of that you already have it. And then the universe responds. As opposed to when you say, I want it, you're telling the universe you don't have it. And so what does it give you? Exactly what you don't have. More of what you don't have in the moment. So focus on, write 10 things, and then you can go back and look. Hey, on this day, 9 months ago, I said I wanted this. And you may have it 9 months down the road when you focus on this. And if you skip a day, don't panic. Don't be hard on yourself. This is just for you. But I like to do it first thing in the morning before I start my day. Some people like to do it just before they go to bed, their last thing before their head hits the pillow. Whenever, maybe you can do it at lunch. Just set your own routine for creating your gratitude journal. And finally, use your mantra that you were just given by your higher self as often as possible. You can write it down on Post-it notes and put it in the mirror in your bathroom and put it in your office and put it in your bedroom and put it around. You can even set little reminders on your computer or your phone to pop up at different times with your mantra. You can post it in your car. It reminds you, because it's really easy to come up with something and then not have it, and then totally forget. I have one that sits on my desk. I'm looking at it right now past my computer that somebody else gave me, and I love it. It says, I have amazing wealth in an amazing way. I have total abundance in every way. And so I look at that every day. And I always take a moment, whenever I look at it, I take a moment to actually say it, not just glance at it and go back to what I'm doing. And I'd like for you all to, through our weeks together, we'll meet every Monday, so we won't be meeting again until next Monday. But in the meantime, we can connect in our Facebook group. So post your celebrations, even if you're walking down the street and you find a quarter, a dime, a penny, a $10 bill, whatever celebration you come up with, because they're going to come. They're going to start flowing. If you have any questions or if you'd like to share a challenge you're dealing with, we are all here to support you on this journey. All right, I am going to stop sharing. And while we do, I'm going to take the other thing I have pasted on my desk and look at this fun dollar bill. It's from Tonga, the Kingdom of Tonga, and it has a humpback whale breaching on it. So that's my fun little illustration of abundance that also sits right next to my little saying, my little mantra up there. So, wow, we're right exactly at an hour. So if anybody has any questions, anything they'd like to share, if you'd like to share your mantra, you can. Any comments? There's not that many of us, so I'm actually going to unmute us all. And if you have anything you'd like to share, just go ahead and speak up.
I do.
Okay, go, Dawn, go.
So last week I live in North Carolina, guys, in the Outer Banks. And in different parts of the Outer Banks, there are wild horses. And I work for a company right now with a part-time job that takes people out to go visit the wild horses in Hummers. And I'll show you my shirt real quick. It says, "We are the protectors of the herd."
Oh.
Beautiful. Back up so we can see it all. Here we go. Beautiful. Don't go too far. No, come back to the camera. There you go. More.
Can you
There you go. That's perfect. Good. I love it.
But send us a picture on Facebook.
There you go.
Have it. Thank you. So anyway, because when people go zooming by the horse is because the beach is like a highway and people go zooming by. So our tour guides, I work in the office, the tour guides will take the Hummers and situate them around the horses because the horses are hanging out on the beach. They live behind the dunes. They just live on the beach. They lay down. They have their babies there. That's where they live. And so the tour guides will just situate the Hummers around people who are flying at them. So they have to go up toward the dunes and then around the horses, but they can't get near them. So when we take people out on tours, we kind of do that. So anyway, I've connected. I'm an animal communicator like Anne, and I've connected with the wild horses in Corolla, North Carolina, which is about a half hour north of where I live here in Kitty Hawk. And they said the same thing that the whales have said about us reconnecting with nature. I have 5 pages of notes that I need to get typed up and put somewhere. They said they used to communicate with early man. They were the original horse whisperers. We say we're the horse whisperers because we can talk to horses, and they said it's actually backwards. Your egos put it backwards. They said we were the ones whispering to early man. We were the horse whisperers. Early man was able to hear us because he was still that close to nature, that close to his instinctual self. And he was open to receive that. Now that we have technology that blocks that instinctual nature for us to receive the information that nature just keeps, like with the birds at the window, knock, knock, knocking, but you're not listening. And so their advice was put down your electronics and go back into nature and allow yourself to receive what is always talking to you, what is always there. And they said that's the reason why horses spend their time around people, because they're waiting for us to come back to our natural state, because they have great wisdom to share with us, and so they're waiting. And they were really excited when they were like, somebody's listening. And I said, well, I was told to do this, so I am. So they said the same thing as the whales.
I love that, Dawn. Thank you very much. That is beautiful. It is all around us. Absolutely. Cool. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Questions?
I just wanted to share my mantra.
Yay.
Yay. It said, flow, be one with all that is, dance with us in unison, feel our joy, open your heart, just be, and feel love, flow.
Nice. That's beautiful. You could write all that out, and then you got one word you can bring it back to, flow.
Exactly. I'll put it on the Facebook page for everyone.
Please do. Yeah, yes. If you guys feel like sharing your mantra on the Facebook page, absolutely, please do. Love to see them. Thank you, Bonnie Blue. And thank you for your beautiful rendition of the krill in that blue whale, bringing my vision to life.
It was a pleasure to help. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Unfortunately, I was completely out the whole time and don't think I hardly heard anything. So
Well,
obviously I was receiving what I had to, but have nothing to report.
Right. No, I get it. I do that sometimes too during meditation. What I'm going to do is, obviously you'll get the recording to this call. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out that visualization and just as an audio portion so that you can play that at any time over and over again if you'd like.
Okay.
I'm sure you got it, Linda. I know you. You always get stuff. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you all. And please comment and join us in the Facebook group. The Whales and I and this group, we're all here to support you. And I look forward to seeing you all here next week.
Yay!
Thank you, Anne. Thank you,
Hugs,
everyone.
everybody.
That's right. Big hugs, big abundant hugs for everybody.
Big heart. My heart.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Larry. Bye, Bonnie.
Bye,